welcome everyone into today's class on where I will talk about the killer strategy that I use often on SPY, right off the open, or which usually gives you a nice direction the whole day. If it's a trend day, if even if it's don't get good direction, you will still be able to get a really good scalp using that strat. So guys, there'll be two strat I'll be talking about today, right? So the first one I will be talking about. Where is enter the text? So the first one, we talk about the basic supply and demand, how I trade basic supply and demand, right off open or just in general. I'm not gonna go into detail with this one, but you'll get an idea. What you're gonna look for going forward when you do more back testing. It will make more sense. Supply and demand is the first one, and the second one is the opening. I would say open strat, right? Right off open, we'll talk about this one. So with open strategies, I mean, it's a pretty simple strategy. You guys probably heard it, a couple times, but it's called opening range breakout. So it's called ORB, opening range breakout. A lot of people use it on 5 minute time frame, 10 minute time frame, but most of people, they are unaware of what is the best time frame to use. For opening range breakout on intraday time frame. In my opinion, 15 minute and 30 minute works the best in the if you are trading intraday, because it gives you pretty good entries with the minimal drawdowns, and you can usually catch big moves if you fall in 15 and 30 minute candles, comparing, when you, let's say, trade 3 minute opening edge breakout. This is going to be a chop. At that point, you only be scalping. You won't be able to catch the full trend with that one, because there's going to be a lot of movement. You're going to get stop out of your position very quickly. But when you're using 15 minute time frame or 30 minute time frames, then first of all, your entries is pretty good, and then you can hold on to for position longer compared to the smaller time frames, right? So we'll talk about it today, and then uh, uh, how I manage my trade too. I talk about it a lot. I talk about it a lot. Talk about it all the time, but I'll talk about it today too. How I manage my position too after getting into a trade. Um, uh, when the setup presents itself. Okay, ORB. So now I'm gonna look for opening range setups here. So the setup that I will talk about, I think I traded last Friday. This one. So all you gotta do is you gotta wait for first 50 or 30 minutes for SPY. Guys, the first thing first, I never trade the first 15 minutes, and I do not recommend anyone to trade first 15 minutes, because the first is the IV is pretty high, and then you paying a lot on your option premiums right to the open, and you don't want to buy expensive cons, especially when the IV is high. Let's say market's dumping right off open. Let's say market is dumping right off open, and then you buying the puts. First 5 minutes the IV is high, everyone's chasing, and then what happens is usually price goes sideways. When price goes sideways, guys, this is where you get your crush on your premiums, and then later on it tests your zone again, and then it dumps. But by the time it dumps, premium's gone, and then you lose on a trade. So first 15 minutes I always avoid. I let the premium settle, and then I take the trade, and then in that time, in the first 15 or 30 minutes, SPY would also form some sort of a range to play with. So let's see on this one. Right off open, form this 50-minute opening range here, right? This one. And this was also a supply zone, right? So you would expect a rejection, or say key resistance, you would expect a rejection if we break this lows here, right? So we broke this lows, we never got a retest. So in that case, I would not add, but you can definitely add on this one, guys. It's again, I'm telling you, you can enter at any level after range. If any strategy you're trading, in the end, it always comes out. What's your risk level is. The closer the risk level to your entry is, the high chances of that you will not get stopped out, or even if you get stopped out, it'd be very minimal loss. So you would always want to add your entry near your stop loss position, right? So in this case, this is my stop loss. This high is because now I'm trading opening range breakout because I'm playing intraday. I'm not playing swing setups. So if this next 15-minute candle closed above my level for 415, I'm gonna get out of it trade right away, right? And then, but if 15-minute candle closed below it, and then I get a retest of this level again, then I'll add it on the retest, and then I put my stop right here, with a very minimal stop of, like, let's say 60-cent stop right here on this one, and then we can catch huge move down. So, but we never got a retest, so I never got an entry. So what I did, I went on to a 30-minute time frame. Yeah, see, look, 30-minute, 6:30, for 30-minute opening range formed, and then look what happened. Price broke down. We got a retest of this level, and then I was already in puts. I got stopped out, and then I added puts again here in this level here, and then puts went 80% on this move down. But you look, this is what I was talking about, right? Opening range breakdown, you do not add on the breakdown, you add on the pullback. Always add on the pullback. And then we will also have a magnet support right here. These are 5 and 8 magnets, guys. I want you guys to use these magnets on your chart, on intraday 50-minute, because this shows you the trend, right? Candle closed below the magnets for 30 minutes, and then to retested the breakdown level, retested the breakdown level here, and then this is where I added to my position. And then it now it has a dual resistance. It's a prior one breakdown level, and it's a magnet. So this is just a good level to add puts or short here. And then my stop loss, pretty simple. If 15-minute candle closed above this opening range, I'm up, right? I'm not gonna have this as my stop loss, because there's like no point. I don't want to have a 3-point risk on intraday, because if I'm risking 3 point, that means I'm basically playing a lotto. So if playing a lotto, that's fine. If not, then my risk would be 50-minute candle closed above this level. And then you go into 50-minute time frame. Look what happened. Same thing. In a 50-minute time frame, you got your low of the day break, and you get a retest, and then you also get a retest of this magnet at the same time. Pretty solid entry here, because price broke prior lows, which also shows there is a change in structure, right? What does it mean by change in structure? Um, that means, look, price is making higher highs, higher lows, right here. And then price made a new low here. Price made a low, and then it bounced, broke prior highs. But if bulls were in control, they were supposed to hold the prior low, because the price is, price is an uptrend, but that did not happen. And then what happened is candle closed below this one, the prior lows, after making new highs. What does that mean? That means it shows a change in character. It's change in structure. So at that point, I would not be looking to go long. I would be looking to go short on any pops, right? I would only go long if price is breaking this prior highs and then pulling back again, because in that way, the trend is intact. Price is still making higher lows, higher highs. So in this case, I'm not. So, and then what I did is overnight, for Monday, the reason I told I'm in puts, because this zone get retested again. By end of the day, we got again full retest of this zone right here, and then it closed it under it. So I was like, why not? I'll give it a shot, and then we'll buy puts. Also a 1 hour, closed in 1 hour supply. So I added puts for tomorrow. Let's see how that works out. My stop loss is this one, the prior highs. If price goes above this one, I'll get stopped out. But good setup for it. I'm going to show you guys more examples, guys. Again, you can use this opening range setup on anything, on any time frame. 5 minute, 10 minute, 15. However you're comfortable with. But it just me. I like 15-minute and 30-minute time frame. It's just more, I would say, stable compared to the time frame. So, but do your own thing. Do your own thing. Back test, see what works for you, and then make your strategy according to that. So let's look at 15-minute time frame. Let's try to look for another opening range here. So right here, this opening range broke, candle closed below, right? And then in this case, the highs are not far away, so my stop would be the highs clearly. right? And then if the price just like this one is down a lot, then I don't want to have my stop loss at this one at these highs, because there'll be a lot of risk for intraday. But when I know my risk is very small, and the opening range broke, guys, again the candle needs to close below the opening range. It has to close below the opening range. If it's not closing below opening range, I'm not interested, right? 50 minute candle has to close below 15 opening range. It closed. What does that shows? Correct or changed, right? And then pullbacks on got sold, right? Made a new lows right here. uh, so perfect setup again. Opening range right here, 630 50-minute opening range, broke down. What happened? Retested it, dumped it back down, and then you go into 50-minute time frame. Candles not closing above, you know easy to catch a big full move. The only reason, guys, the only reason you guys see me pulling out these bangers back to back 100% every day, because I use these magnets, I use this strat every other day or two, whenever I see one. So I even show you guys, the past 4 days, the three examples of opening range breakdown. You don't have to, you don't need any levels, you don't need anything. You just opening range, price open, you wait for it, and then wait for it to break, and then get a trade. Right here, this one would be for the upside. 50-minute form this opening range. Now I'm gonna mark it. Look what happened. Candle closed above it. This candle closed above it. Second candle retested this level, this opening range, and went above. Look at the magnets, pretty strong, holding the trend up, retesting this level, dual confluence now. So it's pretty good longs here. Mm. Same thing here. This 630 candle, broke, candle closed above, pretty good scalp on this one. So, it'd be a very, low chance that you would miss on this one. Look at this. This, guys, again, every single day, there's a good example. Rook. This is a 50-minute candle, opening range formed. Opening range formed. What happened? Candle never closed above. Candle never closed above, so the trade is still valid. Trade is still valid. What happened? Candle closed below this one, retested in this zone, never closed above. Pretty good move to the downside right here. Guys, any questions so far on the opening range? So in the meantime, I'll look for another. Let's look into the Apple here. Let's, if it doesn't work in SPY, let's look into Apple if it works. In any in all the stocks. This one here, it gave a good entry, but fake outlet after just a chop basically. After once this happens, once, guys, again, when the price is at the bottom or very extended from the magnets, at that point you avoid the trade, right? Let's say in this case the price is pretty extended, so in this case I don't want to enter a position, because I want a magnet to near the price. So I just like the SPY one. Let's say this is the opening range. What would be the best setup to trade, right? So the best setup, let's say we're playing the short side, and then price is breaking down, and this is our magnets going down here, right? And candle closed below. If this candle is retesting this level at the same time as the magnets and the breakdown level, this is a pretty good spot in my opinion to add short. This is where I would always add shorts. And then my risk, this prior highs, or if candle closed above this level here, if this level is pretty high up. So that was a setup for opening range. Let's see. The guys, look, 630 opening range formed. This one price broke out and then went above. Pretty easy to identify this one. You don't need any levels, anything. Just this opening range would work fine. Guys, what the magnets, guys, these are 5 and 8 magnets. So these are exponential moving average. They're not the simple one. So I use 5 and 8, the best. It works in the any time frame. For 15, it works the best. Back test it, you'll be amazed. And I think it's pretty simple, guys. The ORB setup, you guys probably understood it. If not, watch it again. Any questions, DM me, and then I'll answer you. Um, what is the best time frame for scalping? Guys, for scalping, I would say, 5 to 15 minutes, are pretty good for scalping on anything. Just need to use this opening range setup with the magnets. It'd be fine. It'd be fine. You know, Under the magnets, price in a clear downtrend, any tap to the magnets, easy sells, right? And then look at these 5 minutes easy scalps on this one. Price is consolidating sideways, breaking out, range test, holding the magnets as long as staying above the magnets, easy scalps, right? Any bounces, any pull back into the magnets is gonna get bought up, or any pullback to the downside, if unless if pull back to the upside, and then the trend going to continue downside. Look, the on Friday, it was Friday, yes. And then look, every single time price was bouncing, it just kept on going down. That's what we held over Apple charts. I had Apple charts. I think it went 25%. I had like a month out puts. Like, look, pretty easy trade. I think yes, guys, the Apple I added on the range break here, the same setup. Look, same added on the range break. This prior demand hit. This is where I sold. Now the candle closed above the magnets. I'm not interested anymore because now that's a clear bear trap. Look, now if that was the breakdown level, right? If this is your breakdown level, this is where you're taking your entry. So you do not want price to go above your level. So what's going to happen? So if price goes above your level, what are you left with? You left with a trap. You trapped. Now price is above your level. You trapped here. So there's no point of me staying in this trade anymore. So as soon as I saw this candle here, I was out, right? And then look what happened. Insane pump. By end of the day, now I saw this 4 hour close on no, not forum, the daily close on Apple, closed in supply, rejected. I took shots overnight, right? Pretty simple. So any questions on this one, ask me in the chat. I'm gonna move on to the next one, which is supply and demand, how I trade supply and demand, right of open, or just in general, how I'm gonna talk about the entries, right? I'm gonna talk about only in the entries, how I take my entries, and then you guys know how I manage my position, with the magnets, and then you guys know the stop loss too, where it would be. So let's look at SPY. I'm gonna clear this up. Let's look at hourly. We shot it a lot back here. As the thing is, when you want to trade supply and demand, the first thing that we want to look for is prior swing highs and prior swing lows, right? So these are two things that you're going to look for. And how do you identify the strong prior highs and strong prior lows? It's pretty simple. So let's say the trend is going. Let's say this is uptrend. Price is going to the upside, right? And then it started from here. The trend started from here. From the bottom. Let's say this is the bottom. Price is coming down. It bounced off of this level, and then after bouncing off, it somewhere met. Let's say there's a supply zone up here, and then it rejected, right? It rejected. But what happened is, let's say price is coming like this from the bottom. Now the price made a new lows and it broke the prior highs, which means this demand is very valid. So that means there are buyers present in this zone, because these buyers, these prior swing low buyers, are strong enough that they can take out the prior highs. So that means there is a demand residing in this zone. That means there are some open orders left in this zone that will get filled once price tag this zone in the future again, right? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna go chase this zone. I'm only gonna enter when price tag the zone in the future, right? It could be in 1 hour chart, it could be 5 minute chart, it could be 15-minute chart, right? So now in the future, if price comes back to this zone again, my stop loss would be clearly the low of this one, and I'm going to take my entry when price hits this zone. Again, I'm not going to take entry right away when the price hits the zone. That's not the way to do it. That's not the way you trade supply and demand, guys. You identify it, you wait for the price to tag your zone, and then what do? Then then uh then let's say I'm trading 50-minute chart, right? Let's say I'm trading 50-minute chart, and then this is happening in 15 minutes. This is a 50-minute demand. Price is bouncing. It's going to bounce on this level. And then you're gonna wait for a change in structure. You cannot add right away here. So let's say price is coming. I'm gonna show you, with this drawings first, then I'll show you the real examples. Now the price is in uptrend right here. Now the as soon as the price is coming down, the price is gonna be in a downtrend, right? And then you wanna wait for a change in structure to get into trade. Price is coming here. You saw the bounce, no entry here. Now, in a smaller time frame, you would see it would change structure. Instead of making lower highs, it would start making higher highs. It would start making higher highs. Once you know there's a change structure in 5-minute chart or in a 3-minute chart, I start to see. As in 5 minutes, I start to see the change. This is where that's when I will add my position. As soon as prices I know is making higher lows, I'm adding my position right away on change of structure, and then my stop loss would be this prior lows. And then what's going to happen is price going to move up to this prior supply zone that formed, right? Because this was a supply zone that broke this prior lows and then tested this demand. So what's going to happen when price tests this supply again? Because there were enough sellers in this zone that pushed the price lower and it broke the prior swing low, which means this is a valid supply zone where I would take my shots. So now price goes back to the supply zone. I'm going to take my shots. My stop loss will be this prior highs. And then again, how I'm going to take my shots, I'm going to take my entry. I'm going to wait for a change of structure in a smaller time frame. Then I'll take my entry. Then my target, again, my target would be the prior swing low. Now this is a swing high. What is the prior swing low? That was the prior swing low. My entry would be this one. So guys, again, that's how supply and demand works. Now I'm going to show you real life examples. You guys are gonna be shocked. There's a supplies on that trade the other day. Yes, this one. Look, so price is making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So what happened is price formed a base here, right here, formed a base before dropping. That's the base, guys. That's the base that we're gonna look for. See, remember the base I was talking about somewhere in the back, right? So that's the base price formed. How do I know this is the perfect base to trade? Because this sellers here broke prior lows and then made a new lows on price, because that means there are enough sellers spread in this zone, where I can take my short position comfortably, and then see, let's wait. See, look what happened. I'm gonna drag it to the right. I'm gonna mark it as a supply zone. Look, perfect tag of a supply zone. Now again, now our first condition is completed. That price came back to our supply zone, and then now I'm not gonna go straight away short this shit. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna go in a smaller time frame to see if the structure's changed. Let's go into 5 minutes and see. Guys, look, structure did change here. 5 minutes, very clear entry here. I remember I shot this one too. Price is making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows here. What happened here? Price broke prior lows. Price broke this prior lows, closed under it, and then what happened next? This next candle never closed above this prior highs, which means price is not making higher lows or higher highs anymore. Price starts to make lower highs, and then I want to take my entry on this high here, because now I know the low is formed. Now there's a change in structure in a smaller time frame. I can add my entry on the pullback. Pulled back into the zone, I take my entry, very minimal stop loss, so right above the entry level. Look what happened, followed by a huge dump. Um, and then I have more examples for you. Dump down in terms of new lows. Now let's find a good example on intraday time frame too. I'll show you more. Where was it? Right here. Guys, most people would say this is chop, this is not chop. Um, let's see this one. This is a supply I would use. The reason, you guys know it. See the chart. Price formed a high, right? Broke below it. This was a demand. This was a demand right here. What happened? Price, goes into the demand. It did not respect the demand, broke below it. So I'm not interested in longs here. Let's look at a smaller time frame and see the structure changed when price hit that demand zone. Nothing happened, right? Nothing happened in this range here. Price came into this demand, no bounces at all. What does that show? There are no fucking buyers in this zone. I'm not even gonna touch this zone. So I did not touch, and then we got, pretty overextended bounce there, obviously, right? This is not on the demand bounce, probably some demand, from the back, but I'm not play this demand, right? Makes sense. And then how I'm gonna trade the shorts on this one is 15 minute. Now I have the supply on 15 minute right here. So this supply zone is valid. Why? Because the sellers were pretty aggressive on this one and they broke prior lows. Broke prior lows, candle closed below it. That means they made a new prior swing low. I mean, the new prior swing low, that is, heavy sellers available. So what's going to happen the next time? Price is going to go there. Their open sell orders are sitting there to short, right? And price tag this zone, trend broke, structure broke. Look, this candle broke 15 minute. I'm going to go into 5 minutes, show you. Where is it? Right here. Not right here. Okay. Pricing making higher lows, guys, higher lows. This low broke, retested it. Easy entry. Lower highs making, gap down. Uh, Understood? Guys, let me know in the chat so I know you guys are in the loop and you're not um, you know scratching your head of what's going on. Yes, these I'm only talking about entries now. I will talk about the take profit levels after this example. So now we talked about the supply zone I showed you. This one I showed this supply. Now again, 30-minute supply formed again the next day. I mean the same day, right? When price opened gap down. And then the prior day, price gapped up, made a new lows. That means sellers present. Same thing happened. End of the day rally into the supply, right? End of the day rally into the supply, gap down. Again, same thing, gap down. I mean, gap up into the supply here. Gap into supply. Why this is a valid supply zone? Because price made a new fucking low on this one. There are sellers present in this one. You do not fucking buy in this zone here. You sell, right? And then what happened? Price tag this zone. I take my entry, and then I wait for a structure to change. Structure changed. I'm getting my entry, and then my targets would be on this one. My first target. My first target would be obviously this low of the day. Low of the day would be my first target, and after that my second target would be the gap fill or this prior day highs. Right, the prior day highs very clear levels again. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you here how long we are in this. Okay, we're at 33 minutes in already. So let's see the entry, right? Your take profit levels. So let's say you take your entry here. So my take profit levels would be, guys, the prior swing highs and lows, right? You want to see at what where price made the high and the lows in the recent days in the past. That should be my profit taking levels. Let's say price tag supply is going down as price was going up, right? As price was going up, this one, if this was the recent high that price made, before touching the supply, this one would be my first target here, right? This one first target, because that's a pretty obvious level for a bounce. And then if this level breaches, then what would be my next target? My next target would be this prior low or this prior high. This the price made. Clearly, price breaking this one, that's a clearly another change in structure, because price is breaking, and now is price breaking another low, probably on a bigger time frame. So now that means there are more sellers that are entering into the trade, because in the higher time frame, sellers entering into the trade, because now they're seeing the higher time frame structure is also changing, right? So now they're going to short it to this level, up to this level, until this some sort of demand is going to come in, and then we're going to see a demand bounce. This That's how the cycle goes, guys. That's how the cycle goes. So now I'm going to show you the examples of take profit level. As again, this will not work in 100% of the time. Again, you got to use the risk levels. You're going to god, your stress too. In this one, just cannot just pull the trigger, as you see it. Just have to back test it a lot. Have to watch it every single day. Only then you be more comfortable playing this. You just cannot, let's say if this is new to you, just cannot go play out it tomorrow. You have to back test. Once you're good enough in this one, it be bread and butter for you, I'm telling you. Guys, the only reason that sometimes you see me so confident in the shot that I shot to the top. I was like, everyone's calling that the new highs coming, or new lows coming. But I know I trust my system, and then most of the time it proves right. You guys, as you can see with the trade recaps. uh, Let me see the profit taking levels. The thing is, the take profit levels, it just really depends. Once you enter on an intraday time frame. Really, because guys, in hindsight, everything looks perfect. In hindsight, everything looks perfect. Because, but it's really, it's everything's different when you actually in a trade. You are dealing with all different type of emotions and everything. So let me find a good example here. Let's say this was please this was a pretty good one. Supply zone formed, this overlay supply is formed, and then closed into supply, gap down, and gapping down, breaking this prior lows. What's my next target is going to be? Breaking this prior lows, my next target is going to be this prior lows that it formed. How is prior lows? I see, this is what I was talking about. This one, let me use the clean. This one, look, price is making this nice. So my target is going to be clear, right? Price breaking this prior lows, my target is going to be the prior swing low right here. Prior swing low hit, and then look what happened. Price swing low broke, retested it. Now more sellers entered. Now what's their target? Their target is this prior swing low. This one, their target hit. Price closed below, retested it. What's their target now? Their target is this prior swing low. Guys, that's how it works. That's how it works. And then what happens eventually? Buyers to control. And then how do we know buyers to control? In this one is pretty simple. Remember what I said, guys, when I was saying the opening range levels? You do not want a 50-minute candle close above the level that you took your entry in. Look, the shorts took entry on this prior low break. What happened? Bulls take control, candle closed above it, trapped it, retested it, and went higher. I'm not interested in a short anymore when I see this kind of fake out. Hope it makes sense, guys. Hope it makes sense, guys. If you combine everything all together, look how everything is coming up, all together so nicely, that if you have these tools, and then you can use it, every single day, to make really nice gains, in my opinion. Um, Guys, any questions? Any questions on supply and demand so far? I try to explain it in an easy way. Look, these are some higher time frame supplies, right? Higher time frame supplies. Reason: price made a new high, and then what happened? Price broke this prior lows. Price broke prior lows, closed below it, closed below it. So anytime price is going back to this daily zone again, we're gonna short. Again, what do you see in when I say, we're trading 50-minute supply, you wait for a change of structure and then get into a trade. Look what happened here in a bigger time frame. Guys, in a bigger time frame, it would do the same thing, but it would just take more time to do it. SPY daily closed, rejected, and then look at the next candle. Structure broke. Candle closed at, broke this prior lows, closed above it. That means there's a clear change in structure here. So that means, now we are bearish on a higher time frame right here. So that's why we saw this dump here on this one. So same thing happened with this one. This tag supply, guys. This didn't is not showing up here. You go into extended time frame. There was a gap up here, right? Price gapped up in the pre-market in this area on 12th September 22. I remember I traded this one live. Um, so price tag this supply zone right here in the pre-market. Look what happened. Is instantly reject. Now it's a higher time frame supply. So how this was a higher time frame supply? How I knew? Price is making higher lows. No, broke the structure, closed below it, and now is making this another highs. Now instead of making higher lows, it's making lower highs. Merely lower highs, is going back there again, short the fuck out of it, and then banged on this whole move down. Guys, I don't. It really depends, guys. You can take the wick. I don't consider the wick. If the wick is too long, I only consider the body to trade. Um, but again, guys, you just cannot enter right away. You wait for change of structure. It does not matter if you are choosing the wick or not. If you only having the body, as long as you identified a good supply or demand zone where the price is going to bounce or reject, and then once it hits, then you wait for change the structure, and then I'm going to enter into a trade. I'm going to enter right away, right? So I've shown you guys example on this one. Go back, write it down, and then go back, see, look into your charts. It would all make sense to you. This might be overwhelming, everything's coming out at once, but trust me, it's very easy, guys, very easy. This is some I'm not gonna lie, this is something I would teach to my mentees, right, in detail. But I'm giving you guys out here sauce for free, so take advantage of it. Watch it again and again. You have any questions, you let me know in the chat, or you ask it in the Discord anytime, right? So I'll be there to help you guys whenever I can. So I think, guys, that's it for today. On my end, I don't want to, I don't want to stretch it too long and show you guys the same examples, because it's going to be the same thing in the end. So the trade recaps, I think we are past that. Now, we'll do it next weekend. So again, if you guys have any questions or any charts you want me to look at, now you can tell me for tomorrow. This was a guys. Look at this weekly recap. Bangers after bangers. 100%, 100%, 100%, 17%, and weekly P&L up to 700%. Minor losses, one here, one there. I think there was one more loss here. But yeah, as you guys the point, right? As long as you follow the fucking system, guys, this is a system. This is a system I teach, right? This is a system I teach, and this is a proof right here in front of you that these are the returns right here. These are weekly, every day. We take live trades, using this supply and demand on this opening setup, and they pay us really nice. Google. Let's look at Google. Holy, Google's looking nice. Guys, for Google, there'll be right now is I would say good short level here, because that's a could be a double top here in this range here before going down, and then there's also uh, bearish divergence forming here right on the daily. So as long as we stay below this 109.66, we're pretty good. We break it and then we fill this gap. That would give us a good shot, in my opinion. Look, that's a clear shot supply here up. I kind of want Google to tag this zone so I can add puts um, on this one, 110, because let's look at the weekly. That would also be a good weekly supply zone. Yes, that's also a price already in the weekly supply. So let's see what happens. That's a daily supply above. That's I'm looking. That's the two ways I'm looking to go short and long on Google. If we gap down below this 107.57, that's even more bearish. Then this gap fills coming for sure. Because then what's going to happen? Price is breaking the prior lows on a higher time frame. What's going to happen? The higher time frame sell is going to come in. They're gonna they're gonna sell the pop. Right? They're gonna sell the pop, and then what's their target gonna be? Their target gonna be the prior swing lows. In this case, what's the prior swing lows? This is the prior swing lows, 105. So see, this all makes sense. This is what I told you guys before. Now this is a live example of I would say live trade idea right here in front of you. Coin, coins in a range, just in a range. There's a supply here above. That's a big ass supply zone. Again, I would mark the supply zone and then I'll go in a smaller time frame and then I'll mark it. So daily range, I would not take a trade, unless price is breaking out of this range here. And then there's a demand right here. This is a demand. So if price comes into this demand zone, I would not short it, right? I would not short this one. And then guess what? There's another demand right here. So a lot of demand that it formed before moving higher. Again, if it's in demand, it does not mean you cannot short it. If it's not breaking the structure, if it's keep making lower lows, if it keep making lower, then keep making lows and lower highs, that means there is no point of selling. I'm gonna keep holding to my position. Makes sense, right? And then someone asked, what time frame do you usually chart your supply and demand zones? Guys, I I do not have a particular time frame to mark my supply and demand zones. All you gotta do is let's say is identify a supply zone first. That's the first thing I would do. Let's say price is going higher. Let's take example of this coin trade, right? Let's say now I know there's a supply above here. So if price tags the supply zone, I'm gonna go short in this one. But now this is a huge ass supply where I'm gonna take a position here. Now what I'm gonna do is now I know I have this supply zone. Now I'm gonna go into smaller time frame to go to narrow it down this supply zone so I can get the top of the trade, right? Then if you would see this move here down, this move down was a pretty hollow move, pretty shallow move here. No real resistance in this zone. So if price, entered this zone here, break above 77, it's not going to reject here. I think it can push, a little bit higher, because now this is a shallow zone. No resistance here. Buyers can easily push the price up where it can push up to. Let's see. Now I mark this 1 hour supply zone. I mean daily supply zone. Now I narrow it down to 2 hour supply zone right here. So I narrow it down because look, same thing that I was talking again, guys. Structure broke. Structure broke, close below. Now anytime price going to test this level again, I'm gonna go short it, right? So see guys how I did it. I marked the daily supply zone. I went to a smaller time frame and then I marked the supply zone. to take a trade against, right? Let's look example on Nvidia. Everyone want to short it. Let's see if we find a good entry on this one. Okay, price formed a supply zone here. That's the clear supply here. You guys know the reason why. See the chart. Let me think about it for a second. Mm, Price was making higher lows, started making lower highs, broke this prior lows here, candle close below, sellers are in control. I'm gonna go short Nvidia if it tags this supply zone here. And why this is the key supply zone? Because change in structure, guys. Change in structure. Look, made a new highs, broke below, price going into this zone, easy short, right? As long as it stays below this one, or I would say this zone here. Nvidia has a lot of supply. Okay. So yeah, so this is my game plan for Nvidia for tomorrow, right? If we do tag this zone, my stop loss would be this highs, and then I will look for a new lows or 257 level on Nvidia. So that's the Nvidia supply zone. Right, let's look at, I don't know, what's other stock that's popular. Mara's going. Yes, Mara has room to go. Mara definitely has room to go. So that's a supply zone I see on Mara. See, shallow zone. This one, no resistance here in this zone. Buyers can push up to this zone here. Only, I would say, smart buyers would pop up here, not anywhere, in this zone here, because there's no point. Right? Square, square's looking nice. I think it's gonna go down. Square formed a supply here. I'm not gonna tell you guys why this is supply zone. Go figure it out on your own. Found a supply zone, any retest of this zone, I would go short it, but it already broke this prior lows, retesting it right inside day. So two ways I'm gonna play this one. If the first one, if it tags my supply zone, then I'll take a shot. Stops prior highs, obviously in a smaller time frame. And the second uh, thing I would trade is if we break this prior lows here. This prior lows or this opening or this inside candle low. But I would personally take this 60 to 57 low break because that is not much this I don't want to get chopped in this in the range of you want a range break to get a trade. So what's going to happen when this prior low breaks? What's going to happen? Prior low breaks, it's going to go to where? It's going to go to prior swing lows. Easy, right? What's the prior swing lows? This is a prior swing lows, which happen to also be a demand level. Why this a demand? Because the buyers were fucking strong enough in this zone. Price pulled back, formed a base, broke higher, broke prior high. So anytime price is coming into this zone, we might see chop or a pop and drop. But high chances that we would see some sort of reaction in this zone unless sellers are pretty aggressive. Mm, so far so good. Any more questions? Okay, we already know. Okay, guys. So I think that's it for today, guys. I will catch you guys tomorrow in the live trade, and then I will also post some of the actionable setups on Twitter and in the Discord channel later on today. So keep an eye on that. And then again, I told you guys any questions, you guys let me know in the chat, in the Discord or anywhere. So with that being said, I'm gonna take a leave. Hope you guys enjoyed today's session and then learned something new about it. If you did, I would say share it, like it, and then I would appreciate that a lot. Have a good weekend, everyone. I'll catch you guys tomorrow in the live trading.